Why do some people use corks versus screw caps?
My last birthday, I went downstairs to my wine cellar. And it was my birthday. I didn't care what was going on with the family. And I was going to have a great bottle of wine. And I went downstairs, and it was a bottle called Chateau Lafite Rothschild, a friend of Chateau Latour. And it was a 1990 vintage, and I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was this is just recently, so it was worth a lot of money. I went downstairs, I opened the bottle, took out the cork, and what happened is the wine was corked, meaning that the cork came from a bad cork tree. Cork comes from the bark of a tree, and it was bad, and that when they put the cork into the bottle, at that moment, the bottle's finished. Whether it's a $10 bottle of wine or a $10,000 bottle of wine. By the way, there's good news. I had another 10 cases of the wine downstairs, so I just went downstairs. I don't want people to feel bad for me about my losses. But in essence, that was a big loss. Thousands of dollars of loss, if you want to take a look at it, for that bottle of wine. But it could happen in a $10 bottle of wine, as I said, or a $10,000 bottle of wine. Now, it is a problem that I find is less and less and less, but it was at one point 3 to 5% of all wines were corked. Now, what does that mean? If I pick up this wine, it's not corked. This has got a lot of fruit. It would smell like a wet, dank cellar. Wet cardboard totally kills the fruit and destroys the flavor. So what are people doing right now? They're using screw caps. The screw caps right now, I would say in, let's take a country like New Zealand, 95% of all New Zealand wines are screw cap.
Really?
75% of Australian wines are screw cap. If you go to Austria with their great Rieslings and Gruner Veltliner wines, they're using screw cap. In California, some wines that are over $100 a bottle, they're using screw cap. Bottom line is, screw cap is okay for wines, in my opinion. Screw cap is okay for wines that will age for 10 years or less.
Okay.
The jury is not out yet what happens after that point.
Okay.
A cork itself will only last 25 years. So if you have a bottle of wine that's over 25 years, you're going to have to recork it and put a new cork in.
Wow.
So who knows about screw caps, but a tremendous amount of money is being put into this.
Now, a lot of people seem to be really eco-friendly these days.
Yeah.
Is there a reason to buy organic wine? Or also on the flip side of that, do you see that global warming is somehow affecting the wine business?
Two big major questions there right now. How much time do we have? Right? First of all, I grow grapes. I have a vineyard that's organic. So I believe in organic. There's even one step beyond that called biodynamic. That has a lot to do with where you are, okay, and the kind of weather conditions you have. And yes, are more people going? Are there less pesticides and herbicides than ever? Absolutely. Less sulfur dioxide? Absolutely. That's why I said it's the golden age. You're getting great wines that are made naturally without all of these other things happening. Does it make for a better wine? The jury's out on that. But the fact, would I, in the society I live in right now, if I could get a wine organically versus a wine that's not, I'd probably choose the organic wine.
That it's really affecting the wine business.
Well, let's say, what is it really affecting? I got a lot of sun.
Right.
Down to the grapes. That sun down to the grapes makes for warmer climatic conditions. The more sugar I get in the grape from the sun through photosynthesis, the higher the alcohol I'm usually going to end up with. Huh. So if you take a look at that situation and the alcohol content of all wines throughout the world, California's getting, people talk about California wines being so high in alcohol. It's around the world. I just finished the trip. It's everywhere. I was in Burgundy, France, and I was out in the middle of the vineyards with the Bouchard family, and I said to Mr. Bouchard, I said, listen, can you tell me about global warming? And he pulled out his wallet, and he had what he had is that when the vintage was from 1960 to 69, from 1970 to 79, and for example, in the 60s, they started picking around September the 23rd. Okay. And now, over the last 10 years, they're picking like in the first week in September. So that's 3 weeks early.
Wow.
It's a big change.
Okay, what about one last bottle of wine that everyone should try before they die?
For me, and I can only speak for me. I can't speak for you.
Right.
My favorite wine, see, this is what the question I always say. Well, what's your favorite wine, Kevin? Well, first of all, it's red. Let's start with that, okay?
Okay.
I mean, everybody, you're white, I'm red. We're incompatible, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Then I'm going to go to a grape variety that I enjoy the most, and this is personal. It's Cabernet Sauvignon. This is just something that I enjoy. Third, I'm going to go to an area that produces Cabernet Sauvignon, one of the best areas in the world, which is called Bordeaux. It's located in France.
Right.
Fourth, I'm going to find a chateau, which is the highest level of Bordeaux, from a great vintage. And that's probably the wine I'm going to have. And if you want me to really narrow it down, is that what you want me to really narrow it down? My favorite wine is Chateau Latour.
Okay.
Latour, just like the name of the restaurant that we just showed you.
Now, if someone wants to learn more about, wine and the book, is there a website that they can visit?
The school, if anyone's interested in going to the school, we still teach it in New York City at the Marriott Marquis in the spring and in the fall, and it's windowswineschool.com. But you can just Google Kevin Zraly, as my mother does, to see what I'm doing, and you'll get to that site. I also have I work with a fellow named Robert Parker. I don't know if you ever heard of Robert Parker. He's a wine critic. He's this big guru. And if you go to erobertparker.com, you will see I've created a set of tests. It's a testing. It's like the SATs. Remember the SATs? You did really well, right? 800s, right? On everything. And so erobertparker.com, you can go to that site, and it's not available if you're not part of this eRobert Parker, but it will be.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Amanda, let's come on here.
Want to drink some wine?
Well, you know what? This is the biggest problem we've had. We got to have a glass of wine. We have to toast we've answered every one of their questions that they've ever had in their entire life. You were great with the questions. I hope I was good with the answers. So toast.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks for joining us at the New York Wine Expo. I'm Amanda Tice for CuisineInsight.com, and don't forget, drink responsibly.